good afternoon. Today I'm going to demonstrate one of the setups, workflows that I've created using Bluebeam Review and Excel for measuring drainage on housing schemes. I was going to try and show you a couple of others, measuring external works, etc., but we're fairly limited on time, so I will just stick to drainage for the moment. Now this is a site of 241 houses. It was originally on 6 or 7 drawings. So what I've done is created a master drawing, and I've used Snapshot to bring in the details from each drawing, and as you can see there's one big layout. As you can see down in this corner down here, this would actually at 1 to 200, this is on piece of paper 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters. Not very practical for printing out, but measuring drainage on one single layout is so much easier than measuring it on several different layouts, especially when you've got runs that might cross. I've had it where they've crossed 3 or 4 drawings when you've got one long run. So this certainly makes measuring a lot easier. So to start with, over this side, you'll see I've got a lot of custom tools for measuring adoptable foul drainage, adoptable storm, private foul, private storm. I've also got a little table set up here for manholes. Basically on this takeoff, we've only got, for all the plot manholes, we haven't got manhole schedule, we've just got some cover and invert levels. So what I've done is I allocated these to groups by just bringing these markups across. And so when I'm doing the depths for these manholes, I don't have to work it out each time. So I've put these on first, and then I've started marking up my drawings. So coming to the markups, I've just zoomed in there, so let's go back to here. This is my plot foul, and what you will see is I've got custom tools for this, and if I jump over here, my custom tool, if I just mark that up, you'll see that I use a symbol at the end to represent the soil vent pipe, and it brings forward details. Well, the markup shows details like it's a UPVC pipe and it's as dug backfill. That's just to try and make it clearer for whoever else picks up this drawing. They can zoom in and out and they can see what's been allowed. So if I get rid of that, if I jump over to my markup, sorry, my actual tool, and then go to my properties panel, what you actually see on here, I've got some details pre-populated. So it starts at a soil vent pipe, it's 100mm diameter pipe, it's plastic pipe, and it's as dug backfill. If I jump onto this one, you will see this pipe starts an internal gully, 100mm pipe again. Now I'm assuming that our gully is going to be in an external area, so the pipe backfill is type 2. When I get to my markup list, I can change that if I want to. Talking of the markup list, if I show you that now, so there are several thousand markups on this drawing, but if I just select this first one, you'll see it obviously brings forward the subject. It's also, I'm using a label for sorting later on in Excel. I've allocated it to the plots that I'm looking at. I mean, you can see I've gone through and allocated all of the markups to plots. I've got it on a layer, so I can turn it on and off as I need to. And over here is where all the details are. So I've said that's the soil vent pipe bit was filled out automatically. I have to fill out my end detail, so I know that's an inspection chamber 1 meter deep. I see 1,000. If it was in a driveway, the inspection chamber, then that would be an HIC, hard inspection chamber. You'll see why I've done that in a minute. If I jump across to my adoptable storm, all that pre-populates with is here's the tool. All that pre-populates with is the material type and the type of backfill, not the pipe diameter, not the pipe start or the pipe end. And then what I do on this is I enter in, so it starts at manhole SMH 19.1, it finishes at SMH 19.2. I've put in here at the moment it's a 1050 diameter concrete pipe. I know it's 375, but I've just been playing about with this to show the differences, which we'll come back to later on. So what we've also got here is we've got some row gullies joining onto that. Row gully will be pre-populated with RG, it will be a 150 pipe and it'll be clay material, type 2 backfill. The detail I've entered here is SMH 19.1 to SMH 19.2, which is the run it's joined onto. For the next one, I don't have to enter these details because when I get into Excel, there it will fill this information down for me. So this just makes the processing and the amount of data that you have to enter into review, it just speeds up the whole process. So as I say, you can see on here I've got an awful lot of detail. There are thousands of lines marked up on here, runs of drainage. So what we've got with this is all of the details that we need from here, and what we would do is we would export that to a CSV file, and what we do with that is we then join this up with the Excel spreadsheet. And here we've got the details of where it's connecting to. We've got a tables page which has got some standard details in it. Here is where we've got like the things like the inspection chambers, IC 500, IC 750, which are the details that we were entering into review. And you can see an IC 500 is an inspection chamber, depth not so 0.5 meters, as dug surround. The H1, so if I say HIC 750, that's actually inspection chamber 750 deep, and it's got a concrete surround because it's in a hard standing. So there's several other details on here. SVP, saw vent pipe. From this it will say that we need to allow an average of 1.5 bends per saw vent pipe. I've got rockers on there at the moment, I shouldn't have that on there, I'll take that off in a minute. And we only count them at the start of a run. Yard gullies we've got more details for. So that's our standard tables. We've then got a manhole schedule. Hopefully the engineers provided us with a manhole schedule. We can put our locations in here. We could put road numbers in just to break this down further, but I haven't done that yet. Cover level, invert level, manhole type, what the backfill is, and whether we've got any backdrops, what the levels are for those. Over on the storm, we've even got catch pit details, depth of the catch pit. Down here, we've got all our head walls, head wall types. I've got a warning here, colours up automatically if anything's less than half a metre deep. And back over Asdug's backfill there. And I've got some details for my plot storm. These weren't actually on a schedule. I've had to go through and pick all these off of the drawings, which is a bit of a pain, but we've got them all now. What we do to make this all work is we've got a couple of buttons here. Once we've exported the CSV file from review, we don't need to open it. It just goes to the same folder. We use these details in here to pick up where that folder is and the name of the file, and Excel using Power Query. We'll pull all that information forward. These over here will be all the tables we're using in to make everything work. So down the bottom I've got the CSV file from Bluebeam that's being pulled in. We've then got things like the adoptable foul manholes, which will refer to our manhole schedule, and basically it will, if we're looking at a run from this here, from the CSV, what it will do is it will look at that run, it will pick up the details from the manhole details from the start and the end of that run. It will pull all the details through from these tables here, which come from the manhole schedules, and it will work out the start depth, the end depth, etc. of our pipe runs, so we get an average level. Where we are weighing onto a run with a road gully or something like that, it will work out the start depth of your road gully, but for the end depth it will take the average level of the run between the two manholes the road gully is joining onto. It's taken quite a bit of working out to get this all into a setup that works, but now it's working, it's fantastic. So here we've got our run checks. Basically what this will do is, if you've forgotten to fill out a detail like a backfill type or a pipe material, or you've forgotten to put a pipe end in, or it doesn't match up to one of the runs we've already got, if you've got some mistake, it will come over here and it will highlight it as a possible error or an error. And what you can do is filter on this table to, as you can see, it's over 3,000 lines long, but you can filter and just pick out those details and go and correct anything in review if you need to. Here we've got a couple of possible errors, just purely because the start depth is deeper than the end depth, so it looks like the pipe's running uphill. But I know on this site it's due to the ground levels, and there are no issues here. So if I jump over to the full build, this is what is created by just taking the markups from review and combine it with these details in the tables page and the manhole schedule. There's nothing else that we're using. So we get a schedule of all our manholes, we get a schedule of all the types of trenches, as done backfill, shingle backfill for where we've got land drains, type 2 backfill where it's under hard standings, we've got all our concrete bed and surrounds, shingle bed and surrounds, types of pipe work, rocker pipes, bends that are needed, wide junctions where we're joining onto runs, all our sundry fittings, and cleaning pipe work, testing pipe work. In backdrops to the manholes, we've got all the details created automatically. Not only that, if we jump over to this filter bill, it's all the same details again, but because we've allocated each of our measures to a plot, we can also see all of our measures per plot. So when this workflow is finished and we've got a rates page set up as well, not only will we have measures per plot, but we will have values per plot, which is extremely useful information when it comes to when you're doing valuations, progress on site, etc. You will be able to see exactly what you should have allowed or completed in each plot. If we jump to private storm, you get all the details for that. It's different. You can combine two tables together, so you'll get private foul first, then you'll get private storm below that. Adoptable storm, I haven't allocated a lot of the measures here or the markups to plots, so that's not that useful at the moment. But what we can also do, just to show you how easy this is to use, you'll see here that we've only, I said about the 1050 pipe earlier. Oh no, it's not in here at the moment. So I've marked that drawing but not brought forward the measures for that 1050 pipe. So if I jump back over to here, when I last updated, this was a Where's it gone? This pipe over here was that was a 750 pipe before, but I've got it down as a 1050 pipe. So what I can do to get this to work is I want to export to a CSV. This is quite a slow process because there's going through a lot of information, but when you're actually recording the screen as well, it slows up everything up even further. You can see by the flashing pointer that it's trying to do something. It just takes a little bit of time, but it's far quicker than trying to go into a spreadsheet and manually enter any changes that you might have made. Okay, hopefully this will be done in a minute. Going very slowly today. Hopefully it's going to stop thinking about it in a moment. Right, so this is our export to CSV. I don't need it to open the file after creation, so I'll just press OK. That's processed all the information. I can then jump back into my spreadsheet, and all I need to do here is, if I hit update bill, you'll see over here it starts working, it starts loading some data. Now this process once again isn't that quick, but it's automated, so you can jump away and do something else. Once again, it's going to be even slower today because we're recording the screen, but what I can do is jump back into review while that's working, and I can jump back into here and just show you the level of information. So when we're doing these markups, you'll see here I've got ASDUG UPVC. So this comes from this this markup here. Now you could create endless amounts of markups with pipe sizes in, etc., but that would, to me, make this not very user friendly. So my tool over here, on this one I have put in it's going to be a pipe size of 100 mil because the foul plot drainage is normally 100 mil. But if I wanted to change that, I can do that in my markups list, so I get it to pre-populate with this. When it comes to my storm, plot storm, I've got the same markup in a different colour, but I don't put the pipe size in here because very often this can be a 100 mil pipe, 150 mil pipe, 225 pipe, so it's pointless me pre-populating because I would be changing probably 70 or 80% of the markups, whereas if on my foul I'll only be changing probably 5 or 10% of them to 150 mil. So as I say, these details are all pre-populated from our actual markups. So I normally have these all pre-allocated to a layer, but unfortunately the latest version of Review has got a glitch in it, so once you start reusing the markups again and again, it loses that layer. You can see this markup here has got a layer allocated to it, but that's because I haven't been using it on the drawing. Once the glitch is fixed, I will come back through and allocate these all to a layer. So let's jump back to our markup. It's still working, but it's almost complete. We can see this by the numbers here. So if we keep an eye on the screen over here, you can see that our 750 pipe has disappeared. I've now got a 1050 pipe in there. it's a bit funny because of it's not gone put at the end because of the way that Excel's formatting numbers. I'm going to have a look at a way if we can sort that out so it does it properly each time. So concrete bed and surround. So this is previously it was a shingle bed and surround, but because the crown has got nearer to the surface, there's not enough cover on it, so it's worked out instead of being a shingle bed and surround, it's now a concrete bed and surround. I've got my concrete pipe work here, 1050 deep. There's no 750, and I've got my concrete rockers. And if I come down here, Y junctions. Because we had 3 row gullies joining onto it, I've got a 1050 by 150 Y junctions. So that's all created automatically in our bill. And if I jump back to the full bill here, you'll see here this is also updated as well. So yeah, everything. I've obviously got a connection in my drainage as well here for another connection into a 1050 pipe, but I've got everything here, and that's everything created from a few sets of markups on review and a few standard tables and settings on Excel. So I hope you like that one, and yeah, if anyone's got any questions, please let me know.